From the UC Health Training Center, welcome to Training Camp Live, powered by Ford. Brought to you by BetMGM, Bud Light, UC Health, and by U.S. Bank.
It's day 6 and the Broncos are about to begin their longest padded practice of training camp. We haven't given a lot of love to the specialists so far in training camp, so who better to have on the show today than one of the best? Rich Karlis is joining Steve Atwater on Hall of Fame Plaza today. We'll get to them momentarily. But welcome into the UC Health Training Center, Broncos Country, and to Broncos Training Camp Live, powered by Ford. I'm Matt Boyer. Sidney Jones, Phil Milani, Steve Atwater, and Rich Karlis will be along in just a moment. A couple of notes for today's practice. We've been talking about that slow ramp-up period here all week long. Practice has been getting longer by 15 minutes each day this week. Yesterday was 2 hours. Today, the Broncos are slated to go 2:15. On Friday, they'll go the full 2.5 hours, and once we hit a 2.5 hour practice, that should become the standard bearer for the rest of the practices here at training camp. So once we hit Friday, expect each practice to go about 2.5 hours. Of course, everything these days subject to change. Noah Fant back in pads after being sick yesterday. Vic Fangio made sure to specify he's not COVID sick, didn't end up on the COVID-19 reserve list. He is back today in full pads. We'll see how long he ends up on the field. Nick Van Nett, his fellow tight end in concussion protocol. It's probably going to be a couple of days before we see Nick back out on the field. Let's get to the highlights from yesterday, and we've been talking about that Lock to Sutton connection all throughout camp. Another really great steady day from Drew Lock. He hooked up with Cortland Sutton for 2 touchdown bombs. Lock's longest passes of the last 4 days have seemed to go number 14's way. Lock also found Troy Fumagalli on a nice touchdown pass in the end zone. So Drew having a nice day. Another guy having a nice day. Steve Atwater singled out this guy yesterday, A.J. Boye. A pass breakup, an interception. The secondary has been gelling incredibly well for not being together for that long. Justin Simmons and Bryce Callahan also having nice days. So there's been a lot of give and take between the offense and the defense, as can be expected this early on in training camp. Hey, speaking of giving and taking, we're getting Broncos Country's best every single training camp practice. And while we can't see you here in person, we miss you guys. We love hearing you from all of our live streams, whether that be Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We also love seeing you guys virtually, welcoming in the fans every single day. Let's listen in to hear what you guys had to say to some of your favorite Broncos.
Let's go! Broncos! Let's go!
Royce, baby.
Those guys love seeing all that attention as they walk out onto the field. Yesterday, some of the guys getting the most attention were the tight ends. As we mentioned, Noah Fant and Nick Van Nett out, so that meant more reps for Troy Fumagalli, Albert O, and Jake Butt. It's been a long road back to health for number 80 in orange and blue. Jake started his career here in Denver on the IR because of a knee injury he suffered, an ACL tear at the University of Michigan prior to becoming a pro. In 2018, he only played 3 games. 2019, a knee cleanup prevented him from playing at all last year. And finally, here in 2020, Jake Butt says he is fully healthy. He met the media yesterday, and while he might be 100%, he said it's still going to take some time to getting back to being what he used to be.
For me, I still got to get used to running out and catching the ball with guys on my hip, catching the ball in traffic, running downfield, and getting used to that contact, because no matter what you do throughout the whole offseason, you can't really replicate that in a live 11-on-11 drill. So for me, I feel 100%. I'm not out there thinking about it, but I got to keep working and keep building on what I'm doing out there, because I'm decently happy with how I'm playing, but I feel like I can continue to play a lot better as I get back used to playing football again.
Jake Butt says that while he likes Shurmur's offense, he enjoys that mentality as well. Yeah, you cannot question Jake Butt's heart when it comes to playing the game of football. That guy, after 3 ACL repairs, to be back on the field is quite the accomplishment. All right, let's get down to 27 Hall of Fame Plaza for our Broncos Legend of the Day, and we've been showing you the best of the best all week long. On Monday, we had on Mark Jackson of the Drive fame, but Jackson's touchdown in the drive would be kind of an almost comeback if it wasn't for this guy hitting the extra point and the field goal, the 33-yard field goal in overtime in the 1986 AFC Championship game. a two-time AFC champion. He's 4th all-time on the Broncos scoring list. We mentioned him at the top. Rich Karlis is standing by with Steve Atwater on Hall of Fame Plaza. And Steve, I talked to the field crew. I talked to our operations folks. We tried to get you down on the field to kick some barefooted field goals with Rich. Something about COVID-19 and the protocols is not happening this year, so you're off the hook, all right?
Thank you, because COVID or not, it would have been ugly. It wouldn't have looked good. I would have missed them all, and my toes I probably would have to go on and get some treatment after that. But thank you for the introduction, Rich Karlis. Thanks for being here with me, my man. We finally got here, right?
Yeah, it's great to be with you.
Yes, hey, great to be with you.
Congratulations on the Hall of Fame selection.
Thank you. Well, we're going to celebrate that next. We're going to have plenty of time to celebrate that. Barefoot kicking. How did you even know that you could kick barefoot?
Well, I mean, keep in mind, I only played my senior year in high school, and that was as a punter, and I did have a shoe on teaching myself to kick, but I grew up in northeastern Ohio where soccer did not exist.
Right.
And liked it enough that I tried to walk on at the University of Cincinnati as a punter, and then in spring ball they switched me to kicking, and I had seen Tony Franklin kicking barefoot at Texas A&M, and I was so desperate, I was like, I'll try anything.
So were you missing them with your shoe on?
I didn't get a good feel for it. That's before they made shoes that were really nice and fitted to your foot. So I learned real quick that if you concentrated, it didn't hurt. And if you did not concentrate, you paid the price.
So you must have started practicing when it was warm outside.
Oh, yeah. In spring ball, it was still pretty warm. And matter of fact, at Cincinnati, we practiced on the old AstroTurf. And in the summers, it got pretty hot. So there were times I brought a bag of ice out to put my foot on waiting between kicks.
Oh, my goodness. That's torture.
No one accused me of being smart.
Oh, man. Did that carried on? You just carried it on into the league, huh?
Yeah. I came to Denver, and, I went to the Oilers in '81. And, I only kicked field goals my senior year in high school, my senior year in college, and showed up at Houston Oilers camp and lasted 3 weeks, and they knocked on the door and sent me home, and wrote letters to everyone in the NFL. And the Broncos sent me a letter in 1982 for what turned out to be an open free agent camp, of which 476 guys showed up for, and about 75 kickers, and it was a free-for-all.
Oh, man, I can only imagine, especially back then, boy. Hey, we got some guys back on the field. You saw Noah Fant, who was out of practice yesterday, non-COVID-related illness. So he's back on the practice field. Nick Vanette, he's still out with the concussion protocol. They'll go through the proper steps and get him back on the field as soon as they can, as soon as it's safe for him. So what do you think, man? What do you think about the setup?
It's pretty nice. You do things right. Steve
not
Atwater does stuff right.
I promise. I just show up.
No, this is great. I mean, you can see the whole field, and it's certainly sobering to not have the fans on the hill. And our training camps were always at University of Northern Colorado, and people took their vacations and came out and built long, lasting relationships with the fans, throughout it all. And it's certainly a different time, but it shows you that you can make those adjustments when the challenge is put forth, right?
No, yeah, you gotta adapt and adjust. But it still seems odd that this is training camp. Now, I would imagine the players are kind of used to that, because in practice, there's normally no fans at practice, and this is just another practice, really. But I know the rookies, they probably don't feel a way about it, but the guys, the veterans, the Von Millers, those guys who've been there for a while, they know how vastly different this is from what training camp is normally like.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's and for the fans too. I mean, it's that one time where they get to be a lot closer to the players, and it's a lot more of a casual setting. So like I said, it's an adjustment for everybody, and for the most part, I think people are doing their best to adapt to it.
Yeah. showing Brett Rippon there, showing the quarterbacks. See Drew Lock in the picture there.
Ripken had a good practice yesterday. I saw a lot written about him in the papers today.
Yeah. I think this team is going to be much more explosive than people are thinking. I mean, actually, much more explosive than I was thinking. I knew that they were going to put the ball up, but, man, they look like they are explosive. Drew Lock is putting the ball on the money, getting it to the right person, and the receivers are catching the passes. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he throws a really nice ball, and you can tell just that, that year of spending time with Sutton, just that level of confidence that he has, that if he throws the ball his way, that Sutton's going to come up with the catch. And,
Sutton's, he's got that confidence, man. So, Rich, we just saw a picture of a view of Sam Martin, the new punter that came over from Detroit. What type of relationship do kickers and punters have? You guys spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, you tended to get thrown together. In those days, we also roomed together. Throughout my career, I was rooming with the punter, and it's just a lot of time, supporting each other, whether it's chasing down kicks for each other or holding, the punter holding for you in those situations, and the loneliness of the job sometimes because you're somewhat isolated, but you're kind of an individual in a team sport.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember our punters and kickers, sometimes they would leave practice. We'd be practicing, they'd be gone. We wouldn't even see them. Where do you guys go?
Oh, man, I tell you, I used to think of more excuses to go in the weight room and lift. Anything to, just because we stood around so much. And, quick funny story, I played a flag football game years ago, and I had my youngest daughter with me. And she came, she's on the sidelines, and she said, "So is this pretty much what you did all the time?" I'm like, "Yeah, I pretty much stood around."
Sounds fun. Looks fun.
But you had to stay in the game mentally because you never knew when, the situation came up, and your head better be in the right place or you're going to come away with a failure. And as a kicker, you don't get that many attempts in a game, so
right.
Every one of them is important.
So how do you, as a kicker, how do you feel about the new rules in regards to special teams and kickoffs? It's not as much action, a lot of balls going through the back of the end zone, a lot of touchbacks. How do you feel about that as a kicker?
Well, I think that, on the kickoff side, as a fan, I think, seeing the Rick Upchurches of the world return, a kickoff for a touchdown, pretty electrifying. But on the downside, there was always so many penalties that negated a lot of those, those things. And, I think the biggest change for the kickers was moving the extra point back, where all of a sudden
that's a chip shot.
It's a high pressure kick for 1 point. Yeah, and then when the weather changes, so I think that it certainly changed the game as far as the scoring goes, and some of the strategies.
Do you like that they moved it back?
If I was kicking, I would probably not like it,
but
only because it, all of a sudden it's one more pressure kick. That 1 point. Yeah. Could really swing a game.
But I got to be honest. For me, it makes the game that much more interesting because it's not a gimme.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it used to be a gimme.
As a pure fan, sitting back, you have to like that, right? Because it's not a given, and it means a lot more, and it does ultimately impact the game.
Yeah.
But McManus, I tell you, watching him kick, that guy, whew. Just the evolution of kicking, from, the Jim Turners, to the Freddie Steinfurts, through my career, to Treadwells, to Elams.
So what is
Praters.
Okay? When you look at Brandon McManus, what does he do differently to where you say, man, the game has come a long way. They're doing things differently than we did it. How do you view that?
Well, he strikes me a lot more. He's built a lot like Morton Anderson, who Morton and I came in the league the same year in '82. Something he said to me last year that really struck me is he's like, "I'm not flexible." He says, "I'm not a flexible guy. I'm really," and he said he thinks that helps him, with the strength in his kicks. But I also think, just once again the evolution of the specialty, that the training, the conditioning, the understanding, also the fact that there's a dedicated kicking ball, where when we played, they took it out of the box. You tried your best to soften that football up a little bit, but you were kicking a brand new football out of the box,
man.
Which when Tony Franklin was kicking 67-yard field goals in college, they were using a practice ball, which looked like a watermelon by comparison, right? There's
nice
a big
soft,
difference, right, in how it flies, and so I think all those little changes help. But watching the guys, how far their kickoffs go, it's just it's very humbling to watch them. They're so talented.
Yeah, so we're showing the offensive lineman there. See Garrett Bowles, starting left tackle. Garrett, he's had some penalties over the years, but he also has been available. He's been, been durable, and I love that about him. Is there some type of happy medium there? And I know the fans, they've been hard on Garrett sometimes.
Yeah, and the media. The media has been brutal on him.
So where does Garrett need to be penalties? I want to say he had 17 penalties. I think 10 of them actually counted. Where does he need to get those penalties to where the fans will be like, hey, okay, we're okay now?
Well, my suspicion is that, a guy that gets that many holding penalties, all of a sudden the officials start to watch a guy like that closer, probably just because he has a propensity to do it.
He said that too.
And so he's not going to get the grace from the officials. And I think that, if he, that's a tough position, as we all know.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, extremely tough.
And
one of the toughest on the field.
You have the edge guys who are smaller and quick, and the Von Millers of the world and the Bradley Chubbs. And, I think that, he's got to be able to get it down to, 4 or 5 maybe during the season.
Right.
And, just getting a more cohesive offensive line put together. And, I think if Drew can get his timing down, maybe he's not, the quarterback's not holding the ball quite as long.
Yeah.
And, it takes the pressure, off of those guys.
And I also think just having a mobile quarterback helps. A guy that, you don't have to be perfect at the offensive line, at the left tackle position. You can make some mistakes, get a push or something there, but your quarterback sees it and is able to feel that in the pocket and move out and extend the play. And, Drew Lock, I think, is going to, help Garrett Bowles be better because he's really mobile in the pocket.
And as you know, the game is so much about confidence. The athleticism is all, fairly close within a range, but then it's a matter of, the mental part and the confidence part of the quarterback having confidence in the line having confidence in each other, that they're going to get the job done. And I think it's a tough job though. That left tackle job. And it's not gotten easier, that's for sure.
Right. Hey, everybody out there in Broncos Country, you can tweet us at #Broncos Camp or at Steve Atwater 27. And you know this one, at Broncos. Simple. Just tweet us. Let us know what you're thinking. Where you're watching from. We've gotten so much great feedback from Broncos Country all over. It's more than Broncos Country. It's becoming Broncos World. People watch from all over the place.
Which is awesome, right? That's the one thing this has done. It's opened training camp up, to anybody, anywhere.
Yes. And, people just tuning in and showing their loyalty, man. It's really something special. I realized when I got here that Broncos Country, it was something different. It's not like a lot of other teams. I grew up in St. Louis, and man, the St. Louis Cardinals, their fans, man, we weren't too good. But I learned something different when I got here, and it really is awesome.
Yeah, they're great. And I've been out of the game for a long time, and I still run into people that share great stories I've always tried to encourage players to, take that time with the fans, and you don't have to spend an hour with them, but just, give them your time and engage with them. And, that takes a lot for some fans to even get up the courage to approach you. So try to, make them feel comfortable. And I get letters today from 30 some years ago of people I met, and so you can make a positive impression on someone.
And the thing is, it doesn't take a lot. Sometimes it just takes a smile, just saying hello, maybe signing an autograph, but many times it's not even that. It's just being nice, just like you want people in your community to be nice. And and I think for the most part, we got a lot of guys on this team who have that mentality, who want to have that positive impact on the community. But I'm like you, Rich. Take a little bit of time, be nice with the fans, man. And it's something special. They treat me better than I deserve to be treated.
Yeah. And the other thing is that the great advice I got from my attorney, when I came in, he said, you have a period of time, a very short window that you can make an impact on the community through the Broncos brand. Don't waste it, right? And
good point.
And for me, that changed my whole life, was spending time investing in the community, and and being able to help use that to make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah. So, Rich, what area of the team do you think needs the most improvement this year, based from last year?
Well, I think the most glaring, right, is just the offensive line. There's been that inconsistency, that they've struggled putting that group together. It seems like you can't turn on the talk radio or the news and hear someone not talking about that position. And then I think the other position that is just taking a beating for a long time is the quarterback position, and hopefully Drew Lock is able to continue the success he had at the end of last season and create some stability, because it's the quarterback position here has not really been a stable position for quite some time.
Yeah, I think it's difficult for most teams really to find that person that they have the confidence in, and the player has the confidence, and the leadership skills, and also the ability to get on the field and actually execute the offense.
Yeah.
It's difficult, and when you find that guy, hey, these teams do everything they can to keep him.
Yeah.
Just like with Kansas City, the Chiefs are going to do everything they can to keep Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs, for the rest of his days. And I know they're hoping he'll play 20 years.
Well, and also having a consistent system. There's been a lot of system changes here,
Right.
the coordinator positions and stuff that, players constantly having to relearn a system, just takes them a while to really get into the sync, where, you look at the success the Patriots had over the years. They just were able to kind of continue to build on their system and not have to, kind of start over again at, square one.
I can tell you, I can see Coach Fangio being like that, a guy who has stability in the coaching staff, has stability in the offensive and defensive play calling and systems. I really like Coach Fangio,
Yeah.
just what he's doing, his demeanor, the way he communicates with the team. He's a no BS guy, but at the same time, he's able to have some fun and let the guys know when they can have fun. All the times are times to have fun. Sometimes you got to get out and work.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and I think you're right with him. I mean, he's kind of a no-nonsense, coach. But as long as everyone knows, the line, where the line's drawn. And, the bottom line is that, for a lot of the younger guys, it's just to make the team. But, the older guys, it's about, winning a championship. And, when you see the sand crystals starting to, come out of the hourglass, you look at Vaughn, who's, 31 years old.
Yeah.
How quick your career goes that, all of a sudden that winning part becomes more and more important.
Right. And fortunately for Vaughn, he has a championship. But a majority of the guys on the team don't. And, you know, they got to take these moments seriously because you're right. It's fleeting. This time goes by so fast. And when it's over, it's over.
Yep.
There's no going back.
And even getting into the playoffs and just, you know, the level of intensity that changes, you know, getting into the playoffs, you know, where it's one and done, you know, and just, you know, the level of play and how it gets raised during the playoffs, you know, is such a great experience.
Yeah, we're showing Von Miller there taking a little break up against the dummy there. You see Bradley Chubb over the side there. He's back out practicing again. I think they gave him a little bit of a break yesterday. Nothing's wrong with him. He's doing really well. Man, if he's healthy this year, Von Miller's healthy with the attitude that he has, it's almost scary what these guys can do.
Yeah, think about having to scheme against those guys.
Man.
You know, as a offensive coordinator.
You can't double team both of them.
No. And you know, hopefully they're you know, inside guys, they're tackles, and you know are able to kind of, you know, lock stuff up in the middle, which frees those guys up on the outside, right?
Yeah. And a lot of it's going to have to do with guys staying healthy. If we can stay healthy, I'm confident that we're gonna surprise a lot of people. I'm gonna predict playoffs. It's a little early. Look at the kickers. Come on, man.
Are they still outside?
They're right there. Look on the screen. And they're probably learning how to get guys off when, you know, after some kicks, some players try to cheap shot the kickers.
Usually the first thing that hit was the back of my head.
Yeah, right. Lift you all the way off your feet, huh?
So what do you think about the whole preseason thing and how, you know, starting right out of the blocks with regular season?
Oh, man, I think it's going to be some ugly football early on. And ours may even be ugly. Now, I'm a lot more optimistic after seeing, you know, watching practice the last several days that, you know, we're going to be just fine. But it's going to be a lot of ugly football because most of the young guys that are going to play, they haven't played in an NFL environment. Now, there won't be fans, so it's going to be probably – well, I'm not going to say it's not going to be fans. Hopefully there will be fans. But there won't be as many fans as there normally are. You know, they won't be running out to, you know, 76,000 fans screaming and hollering. It'll be more like practice. So it may be a little less pressure on them without the fans in the stadium, but still they're going to be going against a whole different team who they haven't practiced wouldn't have practiced against anyone but their teammates.
Yeah, at full speed, right?
Yeah, and then I don't even know if we're going to do that where we take each other down, where you know, guys are chop blocking and, you know, the defenders are, you know, tackling guys low. I just don't think they'll take that risk in practice of, you know, hurting yourself.
And what about starters going 4 quarters?
Yeah.
You know, from a conditioning standpoint, it's going to be very interesting.
Now I can say, from as Vic Fangio gets to going in camp, you know, last year when he got it going, when he got it ramped up, they got a ton of reps in, and you know, they got the conditioning in for the games because, I mean, it was like play after play after play after play. And, you know, the guys, when they left camp last year, they knew, man, next summer I got to work out. I can't come here out of shape. Otherwise, you know, I'm going to be on the sidelines with my oxygen tank.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you want to do. Again, fans, go to Twitter. Hit us up at Broncos, at Steve Atwater, # Broncos Camp. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you're seeing. What do you think about the quarterback, Drew Lock? What do you think about Von Miller, his new outlook on football? Let us know about Garrett Bowles. You know, what will make you guys happy about my man Garrett Bowles? I'm still a Garrett Bowles fan. And I think Garrett Bowles is going to do his thing. We're going to take it up to Phil Milani. Phil, What do you got for us, my friend?
Steve, thank you very much. Mike, it seemed like at the end of last year, Garrett Bowles turned a corner. How has he looked so far during camp?
So far, so good. I think that he's picking up where he left off. He really had a good offseason with us doing the Zoom as far as where he is mentally. I think he's got a great understanding this year of what's expected of him. It's something that, like I said, having being able to work together for the second year, I think is going to be a big plus for him and for me as we go into our second year together. So looking for him to pick up where he left off and have a great season.
There's competition at the center position between 3 different guys. What do you want to see there before you're ready to make a decision?
Well, just giving them an opportunity. Obviously, 2 of them I've been around, so I'm comfortable with what they can do. Cush being the new guy who has a lot that we're really excited to have here. Has fit in and has adapted really well to what's going on, even though he didn't have the spring, which you'd like him to have had. He's handled it well, and so I think however it works out, we're going to have a very good football player in there.
Vic Fangio said that Lloyd has been really smart. He hasn't seen that from a lot of rookies at that position. Have you seen that?
Yeah, he is, and you saw it in the meetings, and then now we're seeing it on the field. We're seeing things in during a drive when you're tired or the 6th, 7th play, and his vision's very good from when he has his hand on the ball. And a great kid. We're thrilled to have him here. We know he's going to help us, and it's just a matter of how quickly he does that.
Playing next to that center position is another newcomer, Graham Glasgow. What have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, very happy about that also. I mean, he's a true pro, a guy that's going into his 5th year, so he's played all the inside positions, which is a plus. I think he's good for Dalton, going in his 2nd year and talking about the development. I think he'll help him develop and be better. I think he'll just make us better. He'll make, not just because of what he can do, but what he can add to the center position, the other guard, the right tackle. He just makes the guys around him better, which is a great attribute, which we're seeing already here in camp.
Mike, thank you so much for your time. Really
you're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
No problem.
Let's send things over to Sydney Jones.
Thanks for that, Phil. And Broncos fans, if you're just now tuning in, we are doing social media giveaways every single day on our live show. And now it's time to announce the winner of yesterday's prize, which was a signed football by Hall of Famer Steve Atwater and his special guest from yesterday's show, Big Al. That prize is going to Chris, whose Twitter handle is @COBroncos. Congratulations, Chris. Now, Broncos fans, if you haven't won a prize yet, don't worry, because like I said, we're doing a giveaway every single day. And today's prize is a signed football by the one and only Von Miller. Check out that signature right there. If you want to win this football, make sure to be following the Broncos on Twitter. And then you must go and retweet the post about this football. We'll be giving it away on tomorrow's live show, so make sure to tune in again. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss tomorrow's live show, as we'll have on the one and only Peyton Manning joining Steve Atwater down on the stage. And Broncos fans, if you want to be featured on our shows, make sure to tweet at us using the hashtag Broncos Camp. We'll be highlighting tweets throughout the rest of training camp, so make sure to check those out. We are also continuing our staff features today, and we are highlighting head athletic trainer, sorry about that, get a little tongue-tied sometimes, head athletic trainer Vince Garcia. Vince talked to me about what it's like to have a normal day down on the field and how much it means to him getting injured guys back out on the field.
On a daily basis during practice, I have a list of guys that I try to keep an eye on. Obviously, the injured guys, particularly coming off of a surgery or just returning to the field. So there's a lot of different things that I try to watch. Obviously, I try to watch their position group during the individual period. Try to watch their reps when they're, doing the team stuff. Try to talk to their coaches, let them know how they're feeling, how they're doing, and really just try to keep my eyes open for anything that may happen acutely, any type of injury that goes down. Players are great. These guys, they have a tough job. It's physically demanding. I respect 100% what they do and what they put their body through, and working with them is awesome. These guys never want to be injured. This is their livelihood. This is how they provide for their family. And it's really special being able to kind of help them, one, stay healthy when we can, and when they get hurt, get them back on the field as quickly and as safely as we can. That's really a cool thing to be part of. Anything up here at all?
No.
How about right through here?
No.
It's really nice to see a player get back out on the field once they've been, particularly on a long rehab with us, post-operative type thing. It's really enjoyable, and to see those guys be able to get back on the field and do what they love to do and do it at the highest level, it really is satisfying from our end.
Now, that's just a snippet of his interview. So if you want to catch the full feature, you can find it on denverbroncos.com and our social media channels. We're also continuing our Camp Confessional series today, and it's a really good one. We got the one and only Von Miller to give us a first-person view on how camp is going for him so far.
Hi, I'm Von Miller, and welcome to my Camp Confessions. I rush the passer, that's what I do, but I've always felt in my heart that I should have been a quarterback, and I got what it takes to play quarterback. Whenever I have a football, whether it's like, just going through drills and stuff, it's just natural for me to just pick it up and go through my reads, even though nobody's there, and throw it down and stuff. But I'm just living my dreams, still living my dreams, man. I'm 31, still dreaming. I'm just surrounded by young, weird guys. But I love them, and they my family. And, whenever I can get the opportunity to tell these guys something, I try to think about young Von and what I would benefit from hearing. When I was a rookie, what I wish somebody would have told me.
When I get to the top of the rest,
I like to ask the guys, are you having fun? This is pro sports. This is high as it gets. There's no other level. You've worked your entire life to get here. What are you going to do with it? Are you having fun at least? That's what I like to say.
We are doing those Camp Confessionals every single day with a different player. So if you like that and want to check out more, you can also find it on our website and social media channels. Now, due to COVID-19 this year, the Broncos annual 7K will be happening virtually. That'll take place this Labor Day weekend, and all participants can either run or walk their own 7K anywhere in Broncos Country territory. Now, if you want to find out more information on that and how to register, you can visit broncos7k.com. All the proceeds from that will be benefiting Broncos Charities' COVID-19 relief efforts. All right, Broncos fans, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, you'll be joined again by Steve Atwater and Rich Karlis.
Training Camp Live, powered by Ford, is brought to you by All Copy, Empower Retirement, King Supers, and FanDuel.
All right, welcome back to Training Camp Live, powered by Ford, and my special guest, Mr. Rich Karlis. You just heard Von Miller. Did you have fun when you played?
Did I have fun?
Yes.
I did up until I retired.
Oh.
And then I retired because it wasn't fun anymore. But
oh, really?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. People always go, "Don't you wish you were playing now?" And I said, I feel so blessed. I played with so many great guys, and guys like Tom Jackson and Louis Wright and Gradishar and all those guys.
Some great guys too.
Just a really solid group of guys that were a big influence on me.
Right. Well, hey, everyone, go to our Facebook poll. Let us know who you want to see, which position group you want to see. We got 3 groups to choose from today. The offensive tackles, that's Garrett Bowles, Elijah Wilkinson, DeMar Dotson, Jake Rogers, Calvin Anderson, Hunter Watts, or the running backs. Everybody likes running backs. Number 25, Melvin Gordon. Number 30, Philip Lindsay, Royce Freeman, Levante Bellamy, the free agent out of Western Michigan, and Jeremy Cox from Old Dominion U. Or do you want to see the tight ends? The stacked group: Noah Fant, Nick Vanette, Albert O. I would try to pronounce his name, but you probably laugh at me. Jake Butt. We talked about Jake Butt, his resiliency. Troy Fumagalli, Andrew Beck, and I don't think Austin Fort's out here. He was on IR last year, and I think he tweaked that knee again. Hopefully not, but he's going to be out for a little bit. But let us know which one of those 3 groups you'd like us to see. We'll announce that group a little later on, and we'll have our cameras follow them for 5 to 10 minutes or so. Okay, I see a question on Twitter. How do you think Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson as a duo will help the Broncos defense? Well, we saw that last year, and they did an amazing job, and I think they're going to do an amazing job this year. Kareem Jackson, very physical, very smart player, a former cornerback who can still cover, and if a bunch of guys went down, he could play cornerback too. But his physicality is off the charts. Justin Simmons, ball hawk, sure tackler, smart, leader, knows what's going on. And with the cornerbacks, we have a new guy in A.J. Bouye. We got Bryce Callahan, who knows this system extremely well because he played in it with Coach Fangio in Chicago, but he missed last year due to an injury in training camp. Bryce Callahan and Justin Simmons, and to some degree, I'll say even A.J. Bouye. I've heard that he has been in the playbook so much that he's making checks and calls at the line of scrimmage, just like he's been in that defense for a while. But those guys are going to help the younger guys learn this defense and learn to communicate. And that's one of the big things about defense, making sure everybody's on the same page, making sure that if a guy goes in motion that they get into the proper defense. They're not running the same defense, or if they are, they communicate that to one another. And we added Michael Ojemudia through the draft, another solid cornerback, a larger cornerback who can play on the edge. He can jam up the bigger receivers, and he can cover tight ends. I think the team has done a fantastic job of putting this talent together. So, yes, I think Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson will help our defense to be super successful this year. What do you think, Rich?
Let's hope so. I mean, you're right. I mean, they've put a lot of emphasis on, in rebuilding that position over the last 2 years, and with Chris Harris leaving and T.J. Ward leaving, and so having that strength, and then obviously those guys were all very happy if Chubb and Vaughn are putting a lot of pressure.
That makes everything easy, right? That's one thing about the secondary is when the defensive line is doing well, it makes things much easier.
Yeah.
And the secondary and linebackers, you got to take care of your big dogs up front, boy, because if they're not hunting, if they're not doing everything they can to get to the quarterback, it could be a long day back there.
Yeah, like Mahomes, right? I mean, if he gets outside the pocket and he starts moving around, it's impossible for a DB to cover a guy for, 5, 6, 7 seconds. And
yes, almost impossible.
Yeah.
Almost impossible. So, Rich, which one of those groups would you want to see? I mean, I know you would want to see a kicker, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm probably in the minority on that one. Yeah, I mean, I think
offensive tackles, running backs, tight ends. Which group of you said, I'm going to focus on these guys, on this group of guys for the next 5 to 10 minutes? Which group would you want to focus on?
I think I'd focus. I'm really curious of the tight end position, just because there's so many tight ends and they all have pretty good resumes.
Yeah.
That like, how are you going to sort that out? And at the end of the day, how many do you keep? Or how many can you keep?
I know.
Because they're seems like a really talented group.
Yeah, I mean, each one of these guys can play. But I got to tell you, man, people who've been on, they've been listening to me the last several days. They know that Albert O he's a guy that I thought he's a rookie out of Missouri. He and Drew Lock played together for a few years, and I thought he was going to be a first-round draft pick.
Is that right?
Yes. And he has the size. He ran just a little bit faster than Noah Fant in the 40. I think Noah Fant ran a 4.51 at the combine. I think Albert O ran like a 4.9 something. But he has great hands.
Well, we know, right, that speed is different.
There you go. That's it.
I mean, a 40 a 40-yard dash and then being able to create separation like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who cares if he runs a 4.9 or a 4.5? I mean, it's all about.
No, I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean 4.9. He ran a 4.49.
A 4.49.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My mistake.
I thought, well, that seems slow.
Yeah,
it's still faster than what I ran it.
Yeah, 4.9 is definitely slow slower on the slower end for a tight end. Those are the big, big guys.
I think the biggest challenge for him is the equipment manager trying to find a way to put his name on the back of his jersey.
I know, right? Hey, man, I know the announcer's going to have fun pronouncing his name throughout the
for
season.
Sure. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, but you know, for guys, no matter how there's flat out speed, and then there's the ability to create that separation. And a lot of guys are a lot faster when they have the football in their hands, and when they're just flat out running a 40.
Well, I can tell you from a defensive back's point of view too. In addition to the speed, when you see a big guy, 260 pounds, running and catching balls, you're a little hesitant. You know, guys are a little bit hesitant. You're not running up in there, just, sticking your head under their chin like you are,
Well, yeah, look at Gronkowski, right? I mean, look at nobody wanted to tackle that guy.
Yeah, he's a big man.
You know? It's like, this is going to hurt.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. All right. So, hey, you guys, you let us know who you want to see. You guys and gals out there. Rich, who do you think they want to see?
My guess, running backs.
You're right. Why? I mean, they like to flash. I guess we should have known that.
Well, yeah.
They like to flash.
Well, I think there's a lot of local love for Philip Lindsay, and obviously they brought Gordon in, and that created a lot of controversy about who was going to get the most reps. But I think that if they can mix it up, I mean, they're two different types of running backs, so hopefully they complement each other in the games and help open everything else up.
I agree with you 100%. I think they'll be a great duo together, and I think with Coach Pat Shurmur's, with his how he can change things up, he can kind of suit the defense to our needs. He'll take advantage of both of their talents, and I think it's going to be really nice. Oh, nice. Drew Lock put another one on the money to Cortland Sutton.
That was a nice pass.
And the previous play, Melvin Gordon had a run where he cut back inside of the defender and looked like he was able to get down near the end zone.
Well, as much as they say that, the game is an offensive passing game, at the end of the day, it's still defense and having a strong running game that, that opens all that up.
Yeah. And we have some additional running backs who are going to be competing. I know Royce Freeman is right now the third running back. There's also Levante Bellamy, who is a college free agent out of Western Michigan. Last year, his senior year of college, man, he had 1,546 yards rushing and an NCAA high 23 touchdowns.
Well, Western Michigan always turns out a lot of good athletes. And,
yes.
People don't always think of them as being any kind of powerhouse school, but that next level down in college, I mean, they have a good program.
Man, I watched this kid. I watched some of his film, man. He's got a nose for that end zone. He makes the plants, and we got the speed. I'm excited to see what he can do when he gets in the ball game. But again, that's just another example of positions where we just have competition, and great competition. And they say iron sharpens iron. I think that whoever wins the starting position, is going to be a better player because of the competition that we've had.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're
so Shelby Harris. I'm so glad Shelby Harris signed back with the team.
They need that. They need that interior, right? To shore stuff up in the middle and force a lot of action up front.
Yes. And we're solid at that position. Shelby Harris and Draymond Jones and McTelvin Agem, the rookie out of Arkansas, DeMarcus Walker, and, of course, Jarrell Casey. I shouldn't mention Arkansas all the time. I'm in Colorado. I'm in Buff Country and CSU country. Oh, Bradley Chubb. Hey, that would have been a sack. It was a touchdown thrown to Jerry Jeudy, but you know.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure.
Yes. Chubb didn't look. He didn't have any hitches that time, did he?
No.
Oh man, he got back there fast.
I noticed the roster's lacking any Cincinnati Bearcat talent. I'm a little disappointed.
Oh, the Bearcats? I'm trying to think.
The Kelseys are both Bearcats.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Derek Wolf.
D. Wolf.
Yeah. Derek grew up about 15 minutes from where I grew up.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Hate to see him leave. I hope he's going to do well out there in Baltimore. I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
Got Justin Hollins, number 52 at the defensive end. He played some at inside linebacker last year, and I think they've settled him in. They've settled him in there on the outside. He's a good player. That's the guy, Levante Bellamy, got into the end zone there on the rush.
He was very patient on that, waiting for his blocks to get set up.
Yeah. And I was just talking about Justin Hollins. You got to set that edge. You got to set that edge. You can't let that guy get out there. You got to contain on that. At least it looks like he had contained from here.
Game is so much easier from up here, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Much easier. Brett Rippon in there, quarterback. We're streaming that running back. Pass a little high to Albert O. Looks like the defender was engaged with him a little bit. He wasn't able to jump up and catch that ball.
Yeah, and I don't think Ripken could step into that pass either. He looked like, there was a lot of pressure coming up the middle on him. So
I wish they could have the plays right here all the time, because it makes it much easier than it is when it's on that far field over there.
Yeah, you're right on it right here.
Yeah, I had to talk to John, see if we can get it set up. I see that the quarterbacks are throwing the balls high, and because we got some tall tight ends who can go up and get the ball.
Yeah.
And that's a definite advantage in the red zone especially.
Yeah, you want to know who you're matching up against, right? If you're matching up against a 5'10", 6-foot safety or corner, and you got a 6'4", 6'5" receiver or tight end.
Yes. And Nick Vannett is 6'6". We got a 6'6" guy too.
Yeah, just post them up, right?
Yeah. Phillip Lindsay, handoff up the middle. It always amazes me that Phillip, not being a big guy, how courageous he is. Because you got to be courageous to run that ball through the hole, knowing that you got linebackers lurking, got safeties lurking, defensive ends grabbing you by the neck. You got to have some courage to do that.
Yeah, he's a hard runner, and you would think maybe over time he might become a little bit more cautious about it, but he doesn't seem like, I think he plays with a chip on his shoulder due to his size and feels like he's got to prove himself all the time, which is always a great motivation, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That would probably have been a penalty.
Yeah, he was on a pretty snug. I think a flag would have been called on that one, but I like the battle. I like the competition.
Yeah.
And Isaac Yadam talking a little noise out there.
This is year 3 for him, right?
Yes, year 3. It's looking for a good year out of Isaac.
We had dinner together a few years ago and walked away very impressed by him.
Yeah. It's going to be a good matchup. He ain't Corliss. And well, now he's out on Devontae Bellamy, the running back. That's where mobility helps.
Yeah.
Especially in the red zone. We just need a touchdown. It doesn't matter who scores.
That's right. Just need the points.
Yes.
And then a lot of them.
Then the kicker got to come on and
make that pressure. Extra point.
Like, oh my goodness. This should be a chip shot. See Bryce. Well, Rich, it's been a pleasure, man.
It's great to see you.
Great to see you as always.
And fun to be out here. I mean, this has been the Broncos have been a huge part of my life and certainly changed my my whole path. That opportunity in 1982 to come to Denver and never left. Love Colorado, love Denver, and the Broncos have certainly been a special part of my life.
Hey, man, we're lucky to have you here, too, man. It's a pleasure having you as a friend, and got to do this again.
Very grateful and looking forward to celebrating your induction next year.
Yes, sir. We're going to have a great time doing that.
Amen to that.
All right. We're going to throw it up to Matt Boyer. Matt, take it away, my friend.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Rich. Gosh, a lot of Broncos history out there down on 27 Hall of Fame Plaza today. In case you missed anything from today's show and want to also catch up on today's post-practice press conferences, we're going to have head coach Vic Fangio, Garrett Bowles, and Shelby Harris all going to the virtual podium today, so head to denverbroncos.com and our social channels for that. We'll also, of course, be having training camp tonight, powered by Ford. Alexis Perry will be recapping the day's action. That is at 6:30 on Channel 20 locally and 7 p.m. on YouTube. And we can't forget about the Thrilogy, the 3 Bronco victories that led to their 3rd Super Bowl title. It all starts this Saturday, August 22nd. The Steelers versus the Broncos, that famed divisional game. It'll also be simulcast on KOA, so make sure you check all of your local listings if you want the audio version or the video version. And, of course, tomorrow, you heard Sidney Jones tease it briefly, Peyton Manning, Super Bowl 50 champion, 2013 MVP, the Sheriff, will be down on the stage with Steve Atwater, so you're not going to want to miss it. 9:15 a.m. tomorrow. Also check our website and social channels in case that time changes, but Peyton Manning here for the full training camp practice. That'll do it for us today on Broncos Camp Live, powered by Ford. Special thanks to Rich Karlis for joining us. For Steve Atwater, Sidney Jones, Phil Milani, I'm Matt Boyer. Thank you so much for watching Broncos Country. We will see you back here tomorrow.
Training Camp Live, powered by Ford, has been brought to you by Betfred, Bud Light Seltzer, Ford, and by USAA.